na inaitwa nini? Na uovu. Uondoka, yani muachane na uovu. That is the characteristics of somebody who has an altar, somebody who spends in the presence of God, somebody who is a carrier of the presence of God. You have to depart from iniquity by living a consecrated life, acknowledging your mortality, acknowledging your frailness at your place of altar. That is why you come as a living sacrifice. Unajiweka mbele za Mungu na unaambia Mungu, mimi sina kingine tena. It is a total surrender. Sometimes unaenda tu, I surrender, but you don't surrender. So me I like it. I wish you can sing I surrender before offering. So I say I surrender all. And I say offering, anatafuta 20 bucks. And I was, surrender your pesa. Na kanisa inahitaji pesa. Ama minute after that, Mungu anakuambia fanya kitu. Unakuwa stubborn. Na unataka tu kuipa I surrender everything. This altar will help us. Because that's where God will pinpoint to you the things that are not right. Do you know true, how do I call it? Yani kujua Mungu ya ukweli is when God is able to show you where you are not doing well. Anybody who shows you where you are not doing well, huyo mtu anakupenda sana. Because that person wants you to be better. Me, I'd rather you tell me you are not doing well here than applaud me when you know very well I'm not doing well. The person who tells you are so beautiful, nakwambia menako ni mzuri, na kuna sukuma imejaa, nakwambia menako ni mzuri, huyo mtu ni adui. Lakini utakwambia kuna kasukuma kwa meno, that person is your friend, isn't it? And because that person has told you that which is making you not look as good as you are supposed to be. And so an altar, the Lord will be able to point to you the areas you need to improve, the areas you need to change. You know, there's a time you don't come to God and say, God, forgive me, I sinned. Like what I used to do when I would be broke. I used to be, nilikuwa mtu mwenye si tithe. I'm finishing in 3 minutes. I never used to tithe. I would tithe when I want, when I don't want. Nikijisikia pesa ni mingi na tithe. Nikiona niko na mashughuli mingi si tithe. So you know I'll be broke. You know when people who don't tithe are ever broke. You know that. And people who don't tithe are ever broke. Because even if they have the money, ni mfuko iliyotoboka. So I would be broke because I was not tithing. So when I'm broke is when I get saved. So I would tell God, forgive me, Lord. So there's a day I'm running to the prayer mountain and to fast because I'm broke. Nimeshika njia, nasikia tuko tumenua gari, so natembea. Nenda kuambia Mungu anisamee sitoangi fungu la 10 na nipe nafasi nyingine tu anipe pesa. Nitatithe. And that's what I've been telling him all the time. So one day I'm reaching on a certain place, ninatembea, the road stops and told me. The Lord was very harsh. It was very harsh. Sitaki kusema lugha yenye alitumia, but it was very harsh on me. Na ananiambia go back. You just need to start tithing. You don't have to go to the prayer mountain. Just start tithing. And then I told them, like the man who said, oh Jesus, help me unbelief. I told God, give me the grace. So I went back and he tried me and he gave me money. I started now practicing to tithe and giving to my God. What did God require of me? He never required me to speak by mouth and say, Lord, forgive me. He wanted me to take action and act and just stop it. So there's a day I used to pray with my friends and they were listening to my prayer and they told me, Sister Jen, we've learned you never repent. I told them, I don't have time to repent. Nikijua kitu ni mbaya, I stop it. If I know abusing somebody is wrong, I stop it. Na wacha tu. Hata siambii Mungu, naambia tu asante Mungu umenifanya nikajua hiyo si mzuri. When he tells me I'm not deep in my prayer, I don't tell you forgive me. I just tell God, yes Lord, I've heard I'm not deep. Give me grace to be deep and show me what I need to do to go deeper. Progressive Christianity. But some of us want a place where you go cry. Alafu kesho unarudi hiyo matoto. Unakuja kuna siku Mungu atakutoa bila nilitoka kwa hiyo nikitembea. Nakwambia stop, don't come to the prayer mountain. You go sit unapatikana. Mungu nisamehe. Mungu nisamehe. You just say stop. And when you try to stop, say God give me the grace. You're acknowledging you cannot do it on your own. You need the grace. Bwana asifiwe. So him that names the name of Christ, let him depart from iniquity. I love what he said, the Lord knows them that are his. So even the way a mother, sisi ni wamama wengi hapa. Lakini tuno kuna kama mtoto akiingia nje pale, si wamama wote watapenduka, ni mama mmoja atajua ni mtoto yake. Do you know that? That's how God is. He knows them that are his. So even in the midst of this prayer congregation, God knows them that are his. Kuna mtu tu akita jina lake, God's attention comes. Kwa nini usijichumie? Why don't you press on to that place where you bring heaven to a standstill? Where when you call upon the name of the Lord, he rises in zeal and says, what is this that my daughter is crying about? You can attain that level when we begin practicing a life of living a life of an altar. A person of the altar. The way unaona walikuwa wanatoa dhabihu inaenda, Mungu anaipokea. Nakumbuka kama Noa. So Noa aliona malaika akaona tulioni nimekufa, juu alitoa dhabihu ikaenda akasema, "Hii." And I discovered God normally sends angels. Just read the word. God sends angels to somebody who is in an altar. People who have angelic visitations are people of the altar. So if you want to walk in angelic visitations, start raising an altar. Raise altars. Even in your village, go home and raise an altar. As we went to the village and we raised an altar. Kwetu nimeraise, my father hajaokoka, anaokoka kibackslide. But there's an altar and he's a Catholic. I always go the anointing oil and I'm coming to pray for this altar. So you raise, because the more you raise, kapepo kata raise yake. Na itakuwa vita ya madhabahu na itakushinda. Bwana asifiwe. Could be the reason why we are not. And it is in this altar where now you learn to seek the Lord as you are being told. I told you need to start a life of walking with God. A life where you seek your God. Bwana asifiwe. Where you look for your lover. Where you look for your father. Unamwambia baba uko happy. Seek him while he may yet be found. You cannot have an altar and not seek God in that altar. He will come to you by giving you a word. There's a day I was calling some intercessor and niletea shida zake. Shida na naomba. Niombe hii. Nikamwambia sitakupa solution. Give me the solution. You said you've been praying. What has God said about this matter? Because when you pray, I don't hear the response. Nikamwambia, what has God said about this matter? You've told me you've prayed and prayed. So what has God spoken? So that we now pick from what God has spoken and we put God to account of the word that he released to you. Hapo na neno, because ameweza tu kuongea pasipo kusikia Mungu. So you are seeking a God and you are not finding him. Seek him and you will find him. That's what he says, isn't it? You cannot seek him and not find him. You can seek him in your troubles. Men of God that are here, you can seek him concerning your ministry. When things are upside, seek him. Tarry there until he gives you an answer. Tarry in the presence. Seek him. Sit at your altar until he speaks. I remember the last time I came here, the other year, I think I was in trouble in my office. I told you, those who are here, that from now they decided to sack me. They gave me a suspension and I went and sat on my altar. 2 weeks, I did not rise up. I said, Lord, I will not rise up from this floor until you tell me what is happening. He had given me revelations of what is going on. One is I was disobedient to what he spoke to me 2 years ago. He told me, my daughter, I gave you a warning 2 years ago. Actually, he gave me a strategy to pray for myself. He told me, come to my courts because there's an accusation against you in the spirit. 2 years ago, before that day, I got so lazy. Even the books that God referred me to read, to learn how to go to the courts of heaven, I started donating to friends, and they were my books. And it's a very good book here, read. I donated. So after 2 years, the Lord told me, this thing was sealed 2 years ago. I gave you the warning, you did not hear. So I now knew. So I told God, so what do I do? That's when he told me, the only thing you is to seek for mercy. So I was lying down for 2 weeks saying, mercy. Mercy. I said mercy until one day my husband told me, Jen, let's go and eat. You will die. I almost, I don't want to say because he's here. I'm like, this man doesn't know what I'm going through. I didn't tell him that God told me I disobeyed him 2 years ago. Because it was my problem, not his. He already had enough problems. The wife has been suspended. I cannot add more, tell him I was disobedient. I cried for mercy. I cried after 2 weeks. And now when I'm crying for mercy, the Lord raised a woman I had not seen for many years to just call me from nowhere. She did not know I'm born again and she's an SDA. I'm saying that I want an SDA. God raised her to intercede for me. That lady would pray for me 2 hours on the phone, using her airtime. In fact, the first time she called me, she told me, we need you for something. I told her I cannot come because I'm at home. I've been suspended. She screamed, who is this? Who has tried the anointed of the Lord? I didn't even know she was an SDA because she was so anointed. I'm like, wow, who is this woman? So after a few days, I met her in Nairobi. She facilitated me to come and they were doing a journal and they wanted to feature me. So when I came to meet her now, she facilitated me to come because I couldn't facilitate myself. I'm at home. That's when I knew she's an SDA. I told her, where did you learn to pray? She's like, I joined a certain prayer group and we've been praying every day. This lady prays. So from the way she was praying, I could hear she was pleading in a courtroom of heaven. She would pray, she would plead my case. And the Lord told me what she has been doing, because she did that for around 5 days. The Lord told me what she has been doing for the 5 days. I've summarized all those books for you through her tongue. And the Lord told me, you are lucky you are a lawyer, so you understand the language of coming before the court. You can imagine the mercy of God. There's a day she prayed and she said, Lord, I bow down from your courts. And the Lord told me, are you hearing what she's doing? That is what I wanted you to do. But now because of my mercy, I've raised her to do it for you. Because I taught her this strategy of prayer. So after the 5 days, the Lord told me now, that was the 3rd week. That's when the Lord told me, go to court, because now you've won the matter in heaven. Go to court and manifest physically. I'm the only clerk who was sent home and came after 3 weeks. The rest go one way. What a God we have. I'm wondering if I never had a prayer like God. If I was not hearing God, what would I have done? I would have started coming against demons, which finished their matter 2 years ago. Because the Lord told me it's finished. In fact, He told me, in fact, a very heavy sacrifice was given against you 2 years ago. A very heavy sacrifice. So I told God, so what sacrifice do I need to bring? And the Lord told me, Jesus, the ultimate sacrifice, is the firstborn of the brethren. The only ultimate sacrifice is me, Jesus. There is no other sacrifice. Because I was told a human sacrifice was given for my sucking because of the demons I'm dealing with in that land. Because this woman is stubborn. They call me stubborn and arrogant and proud because I know my God. And when they meet me, I'm very polite, but they see in the spirit my pride and arrogance in the spirit. Bwana asifiwe. Learn to hear Him. Sometimes intercessors, we speak, and we don't have time to hear God. That's my concern. And when you don't hear God, you walk in darkness. Desire so much that God gives you ears to hear. For me, if it's not that God has had so much mercy on me that I'm able to hear Him, I would have died. I remember when I was being wheeled to the theater, when I was going, I was so afraid. That would be the last story. I have stories. And I was afraid. Even my husband knew, because pressure keeps going up because I'm afraid. I was so afraid by the I'm like, hey, I'm not ready to die. And of course, if you're a personal battle, when the enemy hits you, you're very cautious, isn't it? So my question was, now the devil has hit me with a sickness. So does he want to finish me in the theater? Have I prayed enough that I can be able to manage this battle? You know, the funny thing, God told me not to tell anybody. In fact, you learned by chance. I was angry that you learned about it. Because nobody was supposed to know. Oh. Yeah, I just whispered to Mama, and I think she got shocked. And I told her, don't tell anybody. But I think she was so shocked she had to share. The Lord told me not to, but it was good you learned after. Before I went to the theater, the Lord told me don't tell anybody, not even your spiritual authority. So it was only me and my husband who knew. The children learned the last day when I was going to the theater. And my brother and sister and his family, because I told them, you know, if things don't work, they'll ask me why you took me there without their knowledge. So I told just tell them, but I told them, please keep quiet. Don't even pray about it. I shared with some sisters, I told them, I'm going for a small procedure. I didn't tell them what it was. A small procedure. Please pray for me. I was so afraid. That day I was going. I was so afraid. I decided to go and pass the church. So I found 3 sisters. I'm like, please pray for me. I'm going for a small procedure. Pray for me. And they took it very seriously. They prayed. I told them, by this, my brother, I'm going to the hospital. They prayed. We were rejected in the hospital that day. The insurance just did not work. Nothing worked. So we decided to go back home. To go the next day. When we were at home, I asked the second day we went again, nothing worked. We went back home. So I asked the Lord, why is it not working? Are you trying to say you are healing me so I'll not go through it? And the Lord said, no, it's those girls you told to pray for you, they have brought a lot of confusion in the spirit. Like, what? I told them, so what do I do? He told me, tell them to shut up. So I called them. Imagine calling somebody that says as very in the morning. I didn't tell them, of course, the Lord said, you shut up. What they'll be offended. I told them, please, God has answered the prayer. Stop praying. Let's begin thanking God. So they were like, what do you mean by that? I said, God has answered the prayer. Please stop praying. The Lord told me they were praying contrary to what we agreed with God, because we prayed for it for 1 year until the Lord said, just go and get a doctor, because the faith you have is not strong enough to cause your healing. And of course, there was a reason why God allowed it. So He told me go for the operation. So we started preparing for it. Now these girls were praying against the operation. That's why the Lord told me they brought confusion. Tell them to keep quiet. So I told them, please don't pray. Please, I beg you, don't pray for me again. And so they came. They came to the house to ask me, how can you tell us not to pray? I said, God has answered. Please don't pray. Don't pray. There's a lot of voices in the atmosphere. Don't pray. And when they kept quiet, the Lord now gave us a clearance and went through the operation. Now, when I was being wheeled to the theater, of course, we woke up very early in the morning with my husband and prayed. And when I was going, of course, nimejichota na imani. I'm like, God, yeah, you've spoken. You said I'll come out well, it will be well. So I was very happy that, nimejichota kwa imani. So when I was going kupita kakwada kengine hapo, unajua unakuwa kufukuza mbio na hizo vitu zao. I was making fun on that bed nikioliwa theater. Those of you are going through an operation. So me, I'm making fun. I'm like, ninabebwa na kitu nasijakufa. You know, they normally carry dead people with that thing. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how it look like when I die. At least you made me to know what it feels like before I die. I'm trying to jichota. I'm just trying to make myself happy so that my pressure doesn't go up, because the pressure was just going. So kufika mahali, I had Jesus. I knew it was Jesus. I just heard him say, I am here and I'm going with you to the theater on this year. It was so real. I started laughing. So the sisters knew this girl is so afraid. But nikaanza kucheka. I said, "Jeno unacheka? Hey, umefurahi? Ama hiki tunafurahisha?" They told me I'd already switched. I was somewhere else. Wananiangalia kwa wananiambia toka kwa hii dada ingia hii. Sasa ni ya mwisho. Then I'm just hearing that voice. I am here. I'm going with you to the theater. Then when I was there, I saw Sinach hanging on the theater. Sasa nimekaa at the last bed. Sasa nyenda chinjiwa hapo. Naangalia Sinach amehangiwa. She's being held and she's singing, you are here, moving in this place. I slept hearing that song. I woke up singing that song. Now after, when I got well, when I got my strength, I reviewed. I told Jesus, sikuwa nimestuka sana, yenye nistahili uniambie uko na mimi. Sikuwa nimejichota Yesu. Why did you come and speak to me and tell me I am with you, I'm going with you to the theater? And the Lord told me, he gave me a scenario that when he gave me my daughter Juliet, who will be coming tomorrow, when Juliet is going to school to Nairobi alone, she will give herself a lot of faith and strength that I will make it to Nairobi. But she's a child, but deep inside her there's a fear. Lakini amejichota kwamba nitafika Nairobi. But if you as a mother go with her, she will not think about anything. She's safe. Anajua tu mama hapo, she will stop thinking. Yake tu ni kujua everything is mom. Taxini, everything is about, so she will think of her own things instead of thinking of the journey. But when I'm not with that, she will think of the journey. The journey will become a stressor to her. And the Lord told me that's how you are. Yes, you had spoken to yourself and you would have gone to the theater, you would have come more successful. But the fact that I had to assure you I'm there with you makes you even to forget. And it is true, I forgot everything and I started laughing. God is good. God speaks. God speaks. There is no situation too difficult that He cannot intervene. Right. Most of the time it's us. Because I don't talk again.